Well, good morning and welcome to this episode. And Phil, do you realize there's only 16 days left in 2021 and we're moving to 2022? It seems like it just snapped our fingers and it's over. And I think
The
we
old
both know
record.
everybody's trying
Go
to
ahead.
figure out what this next year look like.
Yeah, I mean, the older I get, the quicker it goes, and the older I get, the more I understand the value of end of year debriefs and new year goal setting and planning because it goes so fast. I mean, you literally blink and it's another year checked away. I remember the years used to take forever. Now nothing takes forever, Dave. Everything's fast.
Nope, that's a fact. That's a fact. And what's interesting is that there's a bunch of people that are going to do some really hard work planning for next year,
Yeah.
but they're going to do it for about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks if they're lucky. And then because they don't have a system or a framework in place, they're going to get overrun by chaos and they're not going to have capacity to handle it and they're going to fall on their face. Is that fairly
Yeah, I
true?
think yeah, that's 100% true. I think if you don't have a process and a system to follow, um, all good intentions, well thought out plans, they go first time you get kicked in the head by life and something comes up, you get off track, and you never get back on track is what we see. And also what we've both experienced in our life. I think that's the greatest teacher is what have you personally experienced. And I know for me personally, I'm sitting here, I've got a couple things I've got to clean up here in the next 16 days that are, it's just stuff that I've let get just get away from me. And so it's an ever going thing. It doesn't ever stop, but you got to have a process and a plan and a way to go about it if you want to have success.
Well, my bet is that most people finish the year and they just feel like they're floating around and just kind of moving from task to task. They're lost
Yep.
and they don't have time or the capacity to do anything that they want to do because they're following a proven system or a framework to get them there. And I think it's interesting to watch that happen. We see it happen with clients, right? And our
Yeah.
clients that find a framework and put that in place and start methodically going through stuff, they do a lot better. Now, something many of you may or may not know is that we are ULA certified coaches, which is a personal life framework. We're also ULA ambassadors. And what I would challenge you all to do is that Friday, December 31st, we're going to host a webinar at 10 a.m. CST, and there'll be a sign up link here in the comments. But sign up and go to the webinar because we're going to talk about how to increase capacity, reduce your debt, improve your family life, and get more balance in your life, and give you a method to do that going into next year.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, everybody has good intentions. I mean, I really believe that. I think everybody has good intentions. Everybody's trying to, do better, be better, whether it's a better spouse or a better friend or a better employee or a better boss or a better manager or a better leader or whatever the case may be. But again, I always use the analogy because it's the one that rings truest to me. When life kicks you in the head and you're stunned a little bit, if you don't have that plan, you're going to struggle. And I think that, we've done, we're going to be doing a kickoff, kind of a kickoff goal setting tomorrow morning with one of our companies, about 15, 16 employees. And it's, some people get into it and are all in, and some think that it's an unnecessary task. And I can tell you right now, I can tell you what the people who think it's an unnecessary task, I can tell you exactly. I bet I can be within $5,000 of revenue of what they will generate, the sales reps. I bet you, because there's nothing changes. They do everything the exact same every year. Nothing changes. There's not going to be any improvement. There's not going to be any growth. It's just going to be status quo.
And I think it's important for people to understand that, in a world filled with chaos, the only way to get around the chaos is to develop structure and set goals with period time frames. We like to use the period system, which is 13-week periods, 4 of them a year, so you can adjust as you move forward. And in a lot of cases, there's a lot of people scrambling right now to finish out their year with a big bang or close that last deal so they can make it. and they're struggling, or just some family stuff they missed out on this year because they didn't prioritize it. And now it's the end of the year and you promise people you're going to do something you didn't. They're not making those good contracts with themselves and their friends and family.
Well, that's where most of my stuff is personal stuff, right? Where I've overcommitted. I'm staring at about a day and a half's worth of work to get some siding done because I'm cheap. I didn't want to spend the money. I thought the bid I got was astronomical. So I said, no, I can knock that out over a weekend. And I could if I would ever just do it. And so, and now we've got early Christmas this weekend out of state. And, then Christmas is, so if I'm going to make my deadline, I'm going to be doing siding on Christmas Day. It's just the reality of it because we're busy through the week. I don't have time to go, do that type of stuff, during the week. And so it's this personal, and it gets you. And I think a lot of people forget about the personal when they're doing their goal setting or their planning for the year. They look at it just as a work thing. And the truth is, if you don't have harmony and balance, I'm not saying there's going to be perfection because there's not. There's going to be stress involved. If you're a busy person, there's going to be stress involved in your life. It's how do you manage
if you're not a busy person, there's going to be stress involved in your life because you're going to create unneeded stress over stupid stuff, right?
Right.
And I think that's the big key to doing the personal development piece as well as business advising. Is we see more people get in trouble because their personal life is so screwed up because they're so focused on their business and they're way out of balance and they're not happy.
Well, I think anytime, when we look at any of our peer advisory groups or anytime we're in a group setting and talking with business owners, most of their biggest challenges, it involves personal life. And it usually involves something because they don't feel like they've created enough opportunity to spend the quality time, if you will, in the personal life, or they're sacrificing things personally because of work. And work gets blamed for everything. A lot of times it's just you just don't have enough discipline.
Now that's a fact.
I know what I need to do to not be chubby anymore. It's just a matter of getting up and going and doing it. Right?
I can relate to that. As you get older,
I
you get chubbier.
I don't have to buy a new book, or I don't have to buy an app online to lose weight. You know what I got to do? I got to burn more calories than I consume, and I got to freaking eat right. And it's not complicated.
Yeah, it's not complicated. It sounds simple, but if you don't have a way to hold yourself accountable on a day in, day out basis, you're not going to do it. Yeah. Right. If you don't have an accountability partner or you don't have a system in place, you're going to get overwhelmed with other stuff and not do it. I know that's my problem. I get busy. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting because, next Friday, if you want a plan to get what you truly want in your life, your career, your finances, and everything else, I think it behooves you to sign up for the webinar on the 31st of December at 10 a.m. We're doing it on the 31st on purpose because we want you to run into the new year with a plan and a way to be successful. It's just an hour. And during an hour, we're going to work on a plan to increase your income and double your time off over the next 12 months. Even it means transitioning to a different job. We'll talk about a detailed plan for getting you out of debt and eliminating stress that comes with being in debt, and then learn how to transform your marriage and your family relationships, then reverse engineer the supportive and loving friendships you want. The goal is to work together to create a plan for your optimal health, lose weight, eat better, and be more active. So the link is in the comments to the right of us.
Yeah, and we'll get that out to everybody too in multiple places, but I'll be doing that from beautiful St. Louis, Missouri. I'll be joining from St. Louis that day.
Well, if you can make it, that would be awesome. I know you got family plans.
All right. I'll need some planning. I'll need some support because I'm going to be going to New Year's Eve parties in St. Louis with two of my kids.
Make sure you have your battle rattle on and your bulletproof vest. St. Louis can be interesting at times.
Here's this chubby, bald-headed dude, conservative dude from the Midwest going to St. Louis for New Year's Eve to a party. I'm sure nothing can go wrong in that deal.
And Phil, I'm going to be having a nice New Year's Eve with my wife at my house, waiting for my kids to call.
We went out to have dinner last night. I got to share this with everybody. And my wife and I were at this place, Oklahoma City, where we live. The Oklahoma City has got some great restaurants. And
yeah, they do.
And we went out to eat, and there's a particular place that we really enjoy. It's down in the, I never know if I'm pronouncing right. Is it the Paseo district? Is that right?
Yep.
Am I saying
Yep.
that right? But it's a really cool place. And so we go down there and we're eating, and my wife looks at me, and my wife is retiring from teaching. Actually, tomorrow is her last day that she will ever teach. I don't believe that, but that's what she keeps saying. But anyway, she's retiring. I bet you anything within a month, Dave, she will be volunteering at a school locally helping kids. But anyway, but she's retiring. So she says, we got to do a better job when we're going out to dinner. We got to pick up the phone and like go grab Dave and Andrea and have them come with us. And we got to do a better job of being good friends. And at first I was like, yeah, sure. And then I'm thinking, wait, do we suck as friends?
You're better. You're better than me, Phil. I like being with my wife at my house.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. But I think, what it made me do is it made me evaluate that, right? It made me sit down and go, and that's what we're talking about doing with this year-end planning, taking a hard look, being honest with yourself, really assessing what's important for you to accomplish over the next year, breaking that down into periods, into 4 periods, and then taking it and evaluating it on a weekly basis. Not this deep dive, but this process of, okay, this is what I said was important I accomplished this week. What did I get done? And then get ready for the next week. And stuff that's just simple things like that, your productivity will go through the roof if you do those things. It's in different stages in your life too, you face different challenges. When you get older and maybe you've had some success along the way, one of the biggest challenges is staying motivated to keep going out and doing it.
Yep.
It's a real thing.
It's easy to chill out, right? It's easy to not deal with the nonsense. You have a day dealing with some jackwagon. You're like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't need to.
I don't have to do this.
I don't have to do this to myself. That's crazy. So I get that.
So it's different stages, right? I see with my kids, anybody that's listened to us over the years knows I always say this: being a good leader is a lot like being a good parent. How do you approach it? How do you, what do you set as expectations for yourself? What are the things that are non-negotiable? What's that contract you make with your kids or your family, or, what's that contract you make with yourself personally and professionally? I mean, what are you saying is important to you? We've got, I talked to an individual that has done some work with us in the past. I won't say their name, Dave, but you'll be able to figure out who it is. And they're like, well, so much stuff you guys say is just so feel good crap. And I said, well, if you'd like, we could be negative. See how that works out for you. I mean, there's, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now, but part of it is about being happy, and choosing to be productive and all that good stuff. And you can either choose to be that way or not, but it's better from a starting point. It's better to say, hey, I'm going to have a good day today. I'm going to have a good week. I'm going to have a good month. I'm going to have a good period. I'm going to have a good year. It's just smart to do that for yourself. So trust me when I say this, Dave and I don't live in a Pollyanna world. We don't believe that unicorns and puppies is around every corner. We know there's a lot of hard work, but we also know you give yourself a better chance of having success when you start from a position of having a plan and being optimistic and positive about that plan.
Well, so I'm reading this book or finishing up this book called The Great CEO Within right now. It's an excellent book if you haven't read it. And the 9th chapter is about gratitude and appreciation. And it talks about how if you show gratitude and appreciation, you're grateful every day, people want to be around you, and they enjoy the positive vibe, and they want to be successful with you because they enjoy being in a non-negative environment. We have so much noise from a personal development standpoint in our face every day about how horrible everything is when it really isn't. I mean, yeah, okay, there's things going on, got it. But the book talks about every morning when you get up, find one thing you're grateful for and announce it to the world. I am grateful for X. And Phil, I'll tell
Yeah.
you, I've been doing this for probably the last 7 months, trying to find things that I'm grateful for each day. And the way I feel and the way I present myself is so different than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
Probably since I
Yeah.
commanded a squadron. And it's amazing. You know, people say it's Pollyanna nonsense, but really it's about your attitude and it's about how you come off in meetings. I mean, you could be Chicken Little and everything's going to hell in a handbasket all the time, or you can be positive and it's the same situation, right?
Yeah. And we're not saying
So,
that there's not those real, Dave and I have very real conversations. We're
yeah,
lucky we've got each other that we can do that, for one another. Where if you're not feeling it in the moment, you can get it out of your damn system. Yeah, you can have a safe place to talk about it. To say, I can't believe I just used the term safe place. But anyway, you can have
you're
somebody
a
that you.
millennial.
I know. What just happened to me? Anyway, what the
Oh
hell?
Lord.
But have that person that you trust, that won't judge you, that'll give you honest feedback, that'll say the things you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. If you got those kind of people in your life, you're very lucky. If you don't, you got to work to find those people.
Yep.
Because they're the greatest asset you can have as a human being, is somebody to look you in the eye and go, you're kind of being a jackwagon right now. I mean, yeah, we know that it's tough.
Yep.
You know that there's stuff going on that maybe you don't like. Guess what? Suck it up. I mean, we've quit. This is my opinion. It's became a bad thing to be honest about some things. You got to embrace the suck, because it is what it is, and you don't directly impact it. You can directly impact how it affects you or those people around
Yep.
you by the attitude you choose to have, by the actions you take every day. You can have an effect on you and the people around you, but there are those things out there. I'm not gonna impact me personally. And I'm gonna pick a subject that's very controversial. I'm not gonna have, me personally, a direct impact on changing the direction of how people feel about vaccination in the world. Right?
Yep.
My position. My position is, if you want to be vaccinated, go get vaccinated. I don't feel bad. I don't judge you for that. If you don't want to be vaccinated, don't be vaccinated. I don't judge you for that. I mean, to me, it's a personal choice. And so I just don't, my wife and
Well,
I,
yeah.
we made decisions to be vaccinated because of some health stuff in our family.
Yep.
And I caught some crap from people that are good friends of mine. And I just laughed at them. I said, dude, the good news is this has zero effect on you.
Yep. Well, and I think that's interesting, and that's what the personal development framework that we follow talks about. Is there are people in your life that are toxic, right? That just always cause problems. And one of the things you got to do in your life, if you have those people there and you're looking at developing next year, identify who those toxic people in your life and let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go and move on, because you will be miserable. I mean, I have friends that I have hidden on Facebook just for that reason, because it's just like, dude, stop! You're killing me.
Hard, man.
Um,
And it's hard,
and
you care
it's
about
hard.
those people.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause you care
absolutely.
about them. I mean, one
But
of my oldest and dearest friends, we just don't talk about certain things.
yeah,
We just don't talk about them. He told me one day, he goes, the good news about us being on opposite sides of the country is if we were in the same room, we'd be fighting right now. And I started laughing. I said, you're right. Yeah, and we love each other. I mean, we've lived life together.
yeah.
We've been through stuff together. But when it comes to a couple topics, we just can't discuss it because it won't end good. So, but that's
But it's
about
good that you know that, right?
yeah. You set
But
boundaries and you do the things you need to
yeah.
do.
So we're going to encourage everybody to join us on the 31st. We're going to ask for you, even if you don't join us, I want you to start thinking about what your framework is for next year, how you're going to manage your goals, what those goals are. And I want you to develop a plan and an accountability drill to reach your goals, right? Don't look at the year in November and go, oh crap, I'm behind next year again, like a lot of us do. Don't put yourself in a position not to succeed. We can help you get there. We want to help you get there, and you can get there. You just got to believe in yourself and what you're doing, right? and put a method to it. So
yeah,
the
there's
big point of today is
tons of resources. I mean, Dave and I, we got stuff that'll truly help you get there, and we're excited about that. We're excited too. We're expanding up into Kansas with our peer advisory groups, which is exciting for us. Be able to touch more business owners or leaders and organizations, so there's gonna be a lot of good things happening in 2022 that we're excited about, and we'll share those with you. But the biggest thing is, you've got to get a plan of action for your own life, professionally and personally.
That's a fact. So let's race into the new year with a plan. Let's show up for the webinar on the 31st. I think you'll enjoy it. It's an hour of your day. It's in the morning, so you can still have the rest of the off. I know most people are taking that Friday off anyway, so you can do some personal development before you head on the day. But with that, Dave Evans and Phil Nichols, we are out of here.